There's something wrong with Jagmeet Singh. He keeps going on these tangents and he keeps attacking Pierre Poilievre, keeps trying to compare him to Trump. It's just so freaking bizarre. And he spoke with reporters today. That's what we're going to take a look at right now. This guy is weird. He doesn't make any sense. And let's laugh at him together. Here we go.
We have some of the best workers in the world, if not the best workers in the world when it comes to steel. We make some of the best, if not the best steel in the world. We're in Hamilton right now, and this is a steel town. So these are the workers that are impacted by these tariffs. These are workers that are already feeling the impacts. But like Canadians, these workers are defiant. Canadians made a decision. We're seeing it across the country. People are saying, we're not going to buy American. We're going to boycott American. We're going to buy Canadian. Canadians are proud of their country, and they want to fight back. Just like these workers, they want to fight back. So let's support these workers in fighting back. My plan as Prime Minister is to ensure when we build infrastructure in this country, we got to build, but let's build using 100% Canadian steel. Let's put these workers to work. These workers want to work, and they make some of the best steel in the world, so let's use that for all the projects. So we want a massive infrastructure build where we are building the hospitals, the roads, the public infrastructure, the public transport using Canadian steel and Canadian workers. Let's turn inwards to ensure that we are building the country that we need with Canadian workers and Canadian steel. In addition, as Prime Minister, we got to make sure that we're here for workers. Whenever there's ups and downs, we got to be there for them. So I want to enhance EI. That includes looking at better work share and better supports for workers. If ever it's needed, EI should be there for you. But we got to start first by building our country up and making sure we use Canadian steel and Canadian workers to do that. But we know when there's conflict, when there's uncertainty, when there's unpredictability, there's different approaches. We know for the Conservatives and Pierre Poilievre, anytime he's confronted with a challenge like this, his solution is the same. Cut jobs, cut services that people need, and that's going to cost you and your family. That's the Conservative.
It's cut services that we don't need as a country, cut services that are costing us billions and billions of dollars, similar to what Doge is doing in America. Cut useless spending.
That's what they're proposing. And why? Well, they want to cut from you and your family to give to their billionaire buddies. That's what Conservatives do. I'm surprised, though, that Mark Carney is now sounding very similar. He's saying some of the same things. He's saying he wants to cut public sector jobs, he wants to cut services, and he wants to give a big tax giveaway to his millionaire CEO buddies. It's no wonder that Stephen Harper, the former Conservative Prime Minister of Canada, wanted Mark Carney to be his finance minister, because clearly they see eye to eye, cutting services, cutting jobs, cutting public sector workers to give to their millionaire, billionaire CEO buddies. New Democrats reject that approach. We want to invest in our own country. We want to build up our country. We want to support workers. And to do that, we need to build Canadian with Canadian steel and Canadian workers, and we can do that. We're going to fight back by supporting our workers in our own country. That's what
it feels like this is on a loop. It feels like he's been saying the same thing for a couple of minutes now, or that this is generated by ChatGPT. This is why people don't like and don't trust Jagmeet Singh. It sounds like he doesn't even believe what he's talking about. Like he's just reading off of a script. The guy is weird. He doesn't have a spine.
If elected the next Prime Minister of Canada, you'll be dealing with the Trump administration and, of course, these looming tariffs. How would you deal with President Trump? What are your tactics that you think would be effective for someone like him?
All right, there's a two part to this. First of all, we're dealing with someone who's a bully, and bullies only understand one thing, that is strength. And Hamilton knows something about being in a fight. Hamilton's a scrappy town. They know what it's like. You got to fight back. That's for sure. But we can't control what he's going to do. We got to fight back. We got to defend our country. But we also have to look at what we can do for our country. And that's why I'm saying if we're going to use our federal government to build projects, let's massively build projects using 100% Canadian steel. Why are we using other steel for projects in our country when we can build it here in our country? We can put Canadian workers to work. That's what I'm proposing today. If we're going to build hospitals, roads, bridges, and we need to, if we're going to build public transport, if we're going to build massive infrastructure projects, let's use 100% Canadian steel. Let's ensure that these workers have jobs in Canada supported by a government that puts workers first. That's our vision. We can't control what Trump's going to do. We can fight back, and we absolutely are ready to do that. But we got to be defiant in building up a country that we are proud of. And to do that, let's build Canadian, buy Canadian, support Canadian workers.
And Jagmeet, do you know right now
really
how
answer
much
the question.
steel in Canada is not Canadian steel that's being currently used?
Well, there's actually no requirement right now. When there are projects being built with taxpayer dollars, there's no real requirement that ensures that it's going to be all Canadian content. Many projects we see federal money going to foreign countries, foreign companies. We're not actually seeing a strong requirement that if we're building a bridge, if we're building roads, if we're building infrastructure, that all that content is Canadian. That's not something that any other party is proposing. We're saying let's use 100% Canadian steel in every project. Let's make that a requirement. If we're going to work with provinces to build projects, which we absolutely should, let's encourage them to also have a requirement that every piece, every part of steel that's used is 100% Canadian. Imagine the type of economy we could build if we were using Canadian steel.
The answer is 39%. I just quickly Googled it, and it says that Canada imports around 39% of its steel from the United States, meaning a significant portion of the steel used in Canada is not produced domestically. I mean, it's not hard to do. I don't know why he didn't do that beforehand. I don't know why someone didn't just whisper in his ear. That's obviously we would like to do more, right? But 39%, it's not that bad. Right? It's a significant amount, but it's not the majority. So at least we still have the majority of our steel being made here in Canada that we use. But yes, of course, we want to do more production here in Canada.
And Canadian workers to build our country. Imagine the type of country we could build together. That's what I'm envisioning, where we are using the power of our country to build a better country.
This is what I don't like about these politicians, is they're saying we could build a better Canada, we could build this, we could build that. What are we building? Tell me what we're building, because to be honest, Canada and even America, we are a first world country. But when we look at what's going on in freaking Istanbul, when we look at what's going on in Japan, in China, they've got these high rises that are super high tech. And it seems like it's right out of a sci-fi movie. So are we going to keep building on top of our very archaic infrastructure, or are we going to modernize our world here in Canada? Like, please tell me what this is going to look like. He doesn't have an answer. It's just pandering. The guy doesn't know what the hell we're going to build. We're going to create a better Canada. Define it, please. Canadians would like to know. Not left up to the imagination. Define it.
Like, building things like hospitals, roads, bridges. One thing I haven't heard you mention that uses a lot of steel is pipelines. That there's lots of talk about with the tariff threat. Does Canada relook at the case for an east-to-west pipeline for something like natural gas? What would the NDP do on that front?
Well, we absolutely need to build infrastructure east-west. And what I'm proposing is an east-west energy grid. We've got incredible supplies of low-cost, cheap electricity that's clean electricity, but we're not connected between the provinces. Imagine the climate we could create, the business climate, the manufacturing climate we could create across.
This guy still doesn't get it. This is why Jagmeet is going to be a nothing burger after the next election. He's going to secure his pension. He's going to lose. He's going to announce that he's resigning or something. He's a freaking moron. Okay, electricity is only going to get us so far. We need oil and gas. We need a pipeline. Stop talking about battery powered, yada, yada, and get on board with the oil and gas. Because if you're not, you're going to be steamrolled and there's going to be nothing left of your party.
Across the country, if we connected the cheap, low cost, cheap, clean electricity from jurisdictions like Manitoba, like BC and Quebec, and connected that.
What does it even mean? Clean electricity? Is there dirty electricity? Like, what the hell is this guy saying? He's trying to pander to people. I have no idea what they're talking about, right? Clean electricity. Oh my goodness. Have we been using dirty electricity? I didn't know. I didn't know this whole time. Oh, I hope the house isn't dirty electricity.
Across the country. Imagine the amount of jobs we could create. We built an east-west energy grid that connected our country. That's a project that would put steel workers to work, electricians to work, a host of jobs, and it would build up a more resilient country. We've heard, and I went to Germany, spoke with the German government. They want our energy. They want clean energy. So let's build clean energy in our country. That's a massive infrastructure project. That's lots of steel. That's lots of jobs. And that stays in our country. That builds up our country.
So is that a no to the idea of an NDP government approving an East-West pipeline?
No, that's just my priority. My priority is we need a big, massive public infrastructure project, and I'd like to see an east-west energy grid. But when it comes to public projects around energy, we have a couple of criteria that we look at. These are important criteria. We want to make sure, one, it's something that the community wants in their community, so social acceptability. We want to make sure that it's a project that actually benefits workers. So we want to see a clear plan that creates jobs in communities that benefits Canadian workers. We want to make sure that we meet our environmental requirements, so we're not damaging or hurting the environment. And finally, we want to make sure we work with Indigenous communities to make these projects happen. But yeah, we're open to projects if they make those criteria. The project I'm really focused on and excited about is an east-west energy grid, but we're open to other projects as well.
He can never just have a common sense approach. It's always this off-brand artisan Timu wacko weird thing. An east to west energy grid, we're going to keep it in-house, and then he says that we're going to sell it to Germany. So which is it? Are we keeping it in-house, or are we going to sell our electricity to Germany? He says clean electricity. What the hell does that even mean? I've never even heard that. I've never once in my life heard clean electricity. Is there dirty electricity? Is it electricity that's powered by oil and gas or generators? Like, what does it even mean, bro? There's a reason why Jagmeet Singh is becoming the most irrelevant politician in Canadian history, is he says the most freaking retarded stuff. Like, I don't know how else to say it. The guy he's got some loose screws. He's such a freaking idiot.
Hi, Mr. Singh. You've talked extensively about how there'll be, in your estimation, an election in March, yet you guys have only roughly 140 candidates nominated so far. What's taking so long for the NDP to get a full slate of candidates in place?
We'll be ready, election ready, when the election comes. We're well on track to achieve that. We have hit all of our targets, and we'll be ready for an election. And that election is going to be important for folks out there. You're seeing what we're focused on. We want workers first. We want to support you and your family. The Conservatives want to cut, and it's going to cost you. And the Liberals let you down. And people tell me they don't want to give them another shot. It's an important election. We'll be ready to fight it.
Oh, yeah. You look real ready with your little Christmas gray sweater.
Provincially, we've seen an NDP candidate drop out and say, back the Liberal candidate. They're the best person to be able to beat the Conservatives in our riding. At a federal level, I'm sure there's many progressives who would like the idea of voting for you, but they look at the polls and see that the Liberals are pulling ahead. Will you commit to running a full slate of candidates across the country and run against the Liberals in every riding?
Yes, we'll have a full slate of candidates. And I can tell you, I've been in government, in elected official in some of the most difficult times. And during the pandemic, when there was just 25 of us, we were able to fight for the things that Canadians needed. If we were not there, if New Democrats were not there, people weren't going to get the help that they needed. And now in this last minority government, everything that we were able to get done that made people's lives better, protections for workers, funding for pharmacare, dental care for seniors, only happened because of New Democrats. We have seen that governments do not act and can't get things done unless more New Democrats are elected. Elect more of us, and more will be done for working people. Today, we talked about a plan to put workers first, to build Canadian infrastructure using Canadian steel. That's what you get with that's what you get with New Democrats in power. So I encourage you all, if you want someone that's going to fight for you, someone's going to stand up for you, elect a New Democrat in your riding.
Hard pass.
We will now go to Olivia Stefanovic with CBC News. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Singh. Should U.S. President Donald Trump be allowed to come to the G7 in Canada while he's insulting Canada and making threats against it?
Well, I think it's an important question. This is someone that's threatened our country and has threatened our very sovereignty. What I'm really concerned about is the fact that we've got a candidate who's running for prime minister who is endorsed by Elon Musk, someone that's a part of the administration that has threatened our country, threatened our jobs, and Pierre Poilievre accepted that endorsement. That shows you where he stands. He accepted the endorsement of someone who's a part of an administration that wants to take over our country. It shows you that he is not fit to be prime minister, and it shows you that he doesn't put Canada first. I've said very clearly, let's attack directly Elon Musk by putting 100% retaliatory tariffs on Tesla products. Let's make them feel the economic pain.
again, super hypocritical. He talks about clean energy. He wants to go after this environmental issue and hit our quotas and blah, 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 blah. He's pro EVs. He didn't answer anything about oil and gas pipelines, but he's pro electricity. Freaking really made sure that we all knew what clean energy was. I've never heard that in my entire life, but now he's going after the leading company in electric vehicles just because of an egotistical move. Again, this guy is not somebody to be taken seriously on any level. Jagmeet Singh is an egotistical maniac who is just trying to pander. Why would you go after the car company that has revolutionized the electric vehicle entire industry? Why would you do that? It's because it's got nothing to do with the fact that it's an EV. It's got everything to do with the fact that Elon Musk, the owner of the company, is siding with Donald Trump, and he wants to stick it to Trump by sticking it to environmental change, right? Like, which is it, buddy? Which is it? Again, if you're a supporter of the NDP, which chances are you viewing are not, but for anyone out there who is, you got to be able to see right through this. He's a freaking sociopath. He's a maniac.
They want to take shots at us. We're ready to fight back. That's where I stand. I want to stand up for Canada, fight back for Canada. We're not seeing that from Pierre Poilievre, and that shows you where he stands.
And given the expectations of Canada's allies and how defense spending is tied to trade, what is your plan to meet the NATO 2% target? Can you give us a specific year in which the NDP would reach NATO's defense spending target by?
I appreciate the question. You'll understand that we'll roll out the details of our spending, the details of our plan closer to the election, but I can tell you our values on this. I've said very clearly that the men and women who serve in our country are serving and doing the work that we ask of them with equipment that frankly should be in a museum. They're using outdated.
Did he just leave out all of the they thems? He said the men and women. So what happened to this progressive approach of everybody else that's outside of those parameters? Again, if you're supporting the NDP, he just insulted you.
Equipment that is not up to par. And so we absolutely need to invest in giving the men and women who serve the equipment they need to do the work we ask of them. So that's going to be an investment that we are prepared to make, the right equipment to do the work we ask of them. We also know that the men and women who serve often cannot find housing in the communities where they're posted. And so we've committed to building housing on base for Canadian Armed Forces so they can live on base in affordable homes. So that's another expenditure that we're prepared to make. These are both significant.
I'm pretty sure the Trudeau government or a previous government put a lot of money into military housing. Like, they're everywhere. You go to any military town, there's a lot of military housing. Could there be more? Yeah, I suppose. But right now, aren't we at like an all-time low for how many members are in our forces? So I'm sure there's probably quite a bit of vacancies. So just saying that you're going to build more housing for military, that, okay, well, are you going to make sure that the numbers are going up for people that are enlisting in the military? Like, there has to be a bit of a balance. You can't just build a bunch of homes that are then going to be vacant for many, many years, right? So again, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's just pandering. The guy is I think this is a chat GPT speech that he's come up with, or by somebody who literally doesn't care about Jagmeet's platform. And he's also standing behind the same size flag that Pierre Poilievre did at his Canada First rally. I'm just noticing that now. I'm just clicking. It's just clicking in. That's so funny.
In expenditures, but necessary. We are in a time right now in a world that is more dangerous than before, more uncertain than before. And we need to make sure we are doing what we can to protect our country and to support those that serve for our country.
Hi, Mr. Singh. Thank you for taking our questions. Your party has said that it expects Mark Carney to win the Liberal leadership race. Several polls have showed that if Mark Carney wins the Liberal leadership race, the Liberals would trend a bit higher with voters and they take away support from the NDP. Why do you think progressive voters are looking at Mark Carney as the alternative to Pierre Poilievre and not you?
Well, we've seen this before. Any leadership race, there's a bump for the party, particularly when the leadership race involves determining who the current prime minister will be. So, of course, that's going to happen. But there'll be an important election. Campaigns matter. And we're going to put the choice to Canadians. They're going to have an important choice to make. I've asked Canadians this question, and I encourage folks to make this reflection themselves. Is your life better or worse after 9 years of Liberals being in power? Is it more expensive or less expensive to buy a home? How about grocery prices? Have they gone up or gone down?
That's also your fault because of the coalition.
On each of these points, Canadians' lives are worse after 9 years of Liberals. So Canadians have told me they feel really let down, and they're not going to give them another chance. So this next election is a choice between Conservatives with Pierre Poilievre, who want to cut the things you need, and it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you dearly. Or New Democrats who want to invest in what you need, invest in our healthcare, invest in pensions, and lower your bills by taking out corporate greed and lowering the cost of groceries, lowering the cost of homes, building the homes you can afford. That's a choice in this next election, and I'm going to be ready to fight that election and give that choice to Canadians.
Thank you. And on another note, the federal government's assault weapons buyback program, the first phase of it started in December. The second phase for individuals still hasn't started yet. And as we get to an election, it might not come into place. If you're elected prime minister, would you continue this program?
Yeah, we want to keep our communities safe, and we want policies that keep our communities safe. So this is something that we've supported. We've been concerned that the Liberals have said one thing and done another. They've not followed through on their proposal. We would make sure that we keep our community safe.
Yeah, that's definitely not how you're going to win over most Canadians, by banning guns. A lot of Canadians that are law-abiding gun owners, and they are not the problem here. That's the end of the video, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.